Wagwan, my loves, it's Knowledge Butterfly. As always, sending you guys out peace, blessings, love, and abundance on this beautiful day of the sun, Sunday. I just wanted to do a video because I haven't done one in a while, and I want to check in with you guys and let you know what's been going on with me. As I shouldn't say as always, but technically, yeah, most of the time I'm really like working on myself, like uh, working on going to the next level, taking in the energy that's coming in from the whether it's a new moon or a full moon or a first quarter moon or or last quarter moon or planets are in retrograde, just taking in all that energy and processing it myself and see how it actually makes me feel and the thoughts that I'm thinking when these particular events happen. Because when you start to like take inventory, like to see how certain things, how you react to certain things, then you start to learn more about yourself, and that's really honestly what's important, you learning about yourself. um, but I've definitely been doing that, and also been working on on the physical sense, working on like some plant-based recipes, so things that require or the main ingredient is some type of meat. Turning that into a vegan dish. I've done vegan nachos. I've done a vegan spicy chicken sandwich. I've done a vegan burger recipe, coming up with my own recipe, my own spin on it. That way I can make sure the ingredients that I'm incorporating are ingredients that are beneficial for me. I am still participating in Ramadan, so I'm not eating when the sun is out. I'm eating once the sun is set. And, just seeing how that is impacting my mental and my spiritual self. But yeah, I just really have been focused on my spiritual, mental, and my physical being. What I actually started doing research on is, I shouldn't say started, because I've actually researched the tarot cards many other times, but I'm getting back into it because the way that I tend to learn, I learn the basics of a subject, and then when I feel intuitively connected to it or drawn to something, like magnetized to it, then I incorporate it back into my study habits. So I've been utilizing an app to teach me about the each tarot card of the deck, which there are 78 cards. There are 22 trump cards or major arcana cards. So learning about those cards, and with Trump being the president of the United States, it actually, it just makes sense that I actually want to learn more about the Trump cards and how these cards operate and how these cards are impacting the time that we live in right now. Also, just yesterday I started reading a couple of books that deal with, and when I say started reading a couple of books, it's because I'm reading both of these books at the same time. I'll read certain information in one book, and then it'll make me go to the other book, kind of like going between both to get a deeper understanding of each of them. But reading about cardology or cardomancy, tarot is basically the cards that have pictures on it, pictures and numbers, and they're tied into the Kabbalah, the tree of life. They're tied into all the Sephiras and also the different paths. The cardology side is tied into the deck of playing cards. So your hearts, your clubs, your diamonds, and your spades. And those are like destiny cards. Those are designed more towards the individual person. Tarot is still, you can utilize it to give yourself a reading for um, your personal astrology. But I find that so far that the cardology really ties into like the individual person a lot deeper. So you kind of get into each and every day, what card is the ruler of that particular day. So what type of energy you are to expect. So that's what I'm reading right now. I bought a deck of playing cards, not to play with, but to, in the sense of normal playing with, like spades, poker, whatever, but to utilize it in the numbers game of life, so I can get a deeper understanding of myself. And I said before in another video that the birth card for me, because I was born on November the 26th, is actually the Seven of Hearts. And each birthday has a particular card that is associated with that birth day. It's called a birth card. And your birth card tells you the type of energy that you're incarnated into. A Seven of Hearts is an old soul. So the heart suite suit is a suit of love and emotion. So it ties into the whole unconditional love and learning how to love people in spite of themselves and love yourself in spite of any quote unquote flaws or negatives. It is a martyr card, so you tend to martyr yourself for other people, sacrifice type of thing like that. And I noticed that that definitely speaks to me because I normally put other people before myself. And this lifetime is learning the balance of that. That's why I incarnated with having Sagittarius as my ego sign, and my moon sign Libra being of a balance sign. So you just realize how it's finding a balance within your spiritual and your physical, because the number 7 card is because the number 7 is a very spiritual number. It is tied to Neptune, which is a very spiritual planet, is a planet of clairaudience, clairvoyance, and intuition, and everything that has to do with a lot of the feminine side and the ancient stuff and the old the old gods, or I shouldn't say the old gods, but more of the ancestors. Is definitely tied to the beginning and that feminine energy, and I'm tied to it in some other different ways. So since I've studied a little bit about astrology, tarot, numerology, and just any of the occult, because occult studies is all of those things. When you're studying astrology and astronomy, numerology, you're studying a divination, whether it be what I'm doing, studying the tarot, because I actually ordered some tarot cards. They won't be here supposedly to sometime in June, because they're coming, I think, from India, but India or China. But also I've studied the chakra system. I've studied your endocrine glands and how they tie into your chakra system, studying different herbs and how those herbs affect you, studying the zodiac signs, studying, just a blend of different things, and seeing how all those things tie into self. And that's really where I am right now, is bringing everything back to one. So learning different aspects of what makes up a human and what makes up, your God self, your spiritual self, and how all those things tie together, and learning, definitely getting a better understanding of how the physical represents your lower self, your lower vibrational self, and how the spiritual God self is your higher vibrational self, and how you marry the two, or you bring your human self up to your spiritual vibration in order to become your greater version, or your higher self. Oh, my voice kind of almost went out right then. But yeah, so that's literally what I've been doing. Cardology is definitely interesting. I have to definitely big up Aquarius Maximus. I talked about her before. I follow her on Instagram, and I learned about her through Father Rich's YouTube channel, which is Black Magic 363. He did an interview with her during the first Libra full moon back in March, and she was talking about what that full moon actually meant, like the type of energy it was bringing, and her reading was spot on with the download I received from the universe. So I definitely know that everything is magnetism. So I was connected to her because the information we received was very similar. And so like I said, I'm now reading about cardology, learning about my birth card, because whenever you're learning any type of new information, it is best for you to learn about how it impacts you. Learn about your birthday and the numbers, characteristics, the traits of that number, and the reason being is because that is explaining to you and teaching you about yourself. It's teaching you about who you are, your soul's purpose, and why you're actually here versus the physical job that you're doing or whatever. And learning being a seven of hearts, learning that it is a definite spiritual journey and it's an old soul. Learning that the reason why I kind of like turned my nose up to material things and materialism, and it's because of the seven of hearts is a spiritual journey. It is a journey into your higher self. And so when you start to become on a spiritual journey, you kind of like throw away the material things. You let go of that, which is exactly how my journey has gone. I let go of everything that was material, and I went on a complete spiritual journey and started to learn about myself. But learning that it still will bring you back to the material side, meaning that you'll still be able to manifest that because you put the spiritual side first, which is your higher self, and it trickles down. It's like how the politicians try to do that trickle down effect. Like we give all the tax breaks and the tax cuts to the 1%, and it's the trickle down economics type of thing. They got that from you living a higher vibration, a higher vibrational life, and it trickling down to your physical self. But they did it in a perverted way, which is on the physical side. So it's never going to trickle down because you're literally starting from the bottom and talking about you're going to trickle down to the top. No, that don't work. It don't work that way. So yeah, that's literally what I've been doing. It's very, very interesting. I am reading a couple of books. One of the books is called The Sacred Symbols. Let me see. The Sacred Symbols of the Ancients. And this book I got off of archive.org. I've told you guys about that before. You can get a lot of free books online. That way you can read a lot of different books at the same time, and you can get the foundation. Because the way I learn is setting a foundation, is getting the basics of every single subject and tying those things into each other, because the ancients, they actually understood that math, science, and all those things actually were tied into the one. And they didn't teach it like how in our schools they'll teach you have a math teacher, you have a science teacher, you have an English teacher, you have a history teacher, you have all these different teachers. But the ancients taught in a way that they incorporated all those things together, so you understood how they work together. It's just like a car. You learn about the whole being of the car. You learn about the engine. You learn about the alternator, the battery. You learn how the steering wheel. You learn how every piece works in order for that car to operate harmoniously. And because we've been disconnected and we've been told to learn this subject and then you learn and everything's separate, we've been taught to treat everything as something separate instead of treating things as oneness. And that actually ties into cardology, which I'm learning about. Like I said, this is only going into day 2. It hasn't even been 24 hours since I've been studying this, and I've already gained so much knowledge. I even learned why I gain knowledge the way that I do and why I learn the way that I do, and that's because I am tied into the planet Mercury, which is your mental, your thinking, and of course it's communication as well, which actually speaks to me doing a YouTube channel, because communication is one of those things that I'm actually really good at, especially when I have a great understanding of a subject. I could actually teach it. So that's what I'm learning right now. Aquarius Maximus has been doing this for about 10 years when it comes to cardology, and most of the people that I study, they've been doing it for years. And so I'm not pretending to be the SME at something like any of these subjects, but I definitely have enough knowledge to get a basic understanding of what it is. It's kind of like starting in your kindergarten level, and who knows, in the next 5 years I can already have graduated, and taken half the time where it took somebody 10 years to do it, because we are in the age of knowledge, the age of Aquarius. So this is a great time to learn something new, and the best way to learn something new is to learn how it pertains to yourself. So I just wanted to share the information with you guys while I am reading the sacred symbols of the ancients, and I'm also reading the Mystic Text book, the Mystic Test TEST book, which was, I think, written back in 1883 by Oni No, it wasn't Randall. It started with an R. I actually could look it up. Let's see. Oni Richmond. Only HOLNEY H. Richmond, and the Sacred Symbols of the Ancients is written by Edith Randall and Florence Evelyn Campbell. So I'm reading those two books together, just getting a good foundation for what cardology is, what each number means, so the energy of each number, and also the energy of each suit, the hearts, the clubs, the diamonds, and the spades, and it goes in that exact order, what numerology each one of those suits represent, and the numerology ties into the energy, because everything that exists carries a particular energy. So knowing your energy helps you know what your soul purpose is, so that you can fulfill that soul purpose, so you don't have to reincarnate if you don't want to reincarnate. And it also helps you to learn how to turn your negatives into positives. So anywho's, I just wanted to do this quick video, guys, to give you some information and an update on what I've been doing. And, as always, just so that I can check in with you guys. And that's really about it. So you can subscribe to my channel. There's a button you can press if you want to get the notifications when I post a new video, as well as if you want to learn more about, my journey, my spiritual journey, which the things I share is also to help you benefit your spiritual journey as well. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I post from time to time. My Facebook actually is... the posts come directly from my Instagram, so it's not like I'm just posting on Facebook. I really don't use it like that, but since I do have a page for it, I post it through my Instagram. As well as, if you are feeling my vibrations, you can send a love donation to my PayPal or my Cash App as I'm going through my journey, and you definitely feel that the information I'm providing is benefiting you. So I am definitely walking that whole journey of the tarot card, the Fool and the Magician right now. The Fool is the one who is open to... Actually, the Fool is... Every single card of the tarot deck is the Fool. And it is starting from the beginning, a new journey, and turning that into becoming the Magician, which is the second card, which is manifestation. So, yeah. Anywho's, guys, I'm going to end the video on that note. I definitely appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.